This is my Acura Integra from 2001 with a K20a swap. And last year I did the K20a swap with hybrid racing, and I wondered, how is this going to be reliable? How is this going to hold up? And is it worth doing the K swap after everything that you have to go through to make it happen? So let's go for a drive, talk about my struggles with the car, my experiences with the car, and also things that that were just plain old unlucky in this thing over the past year that I also haven't talked about. I stopped for a second because I'm actually surprised it dead hooked at first. What's so weird is it's deceiving. This car is extremely deceiving because it feels like, you know, a fun all-motor 4-cylinder that makes, like, who knows, like 250 horsepower, maybe. But the way the power comes on and how light the chassis is, that's when it starts to make you go, holy crap, like, I can't believe how this car feels the way it feels. If you are new to my channel, this is my DC2 Integra. It's got a K20a, which is from Japan, which is essentially the RSX Type R motor or the Integra Type R over in Japan that we never got. First things first, what's it like? It is a ton of character. It is really raw. It's very visceral when you get inside this car. It is very race car-like, even though I did the full interior swap from that heinous brown interior that this car came with. This car actually started as an LS B18 non-VTEC car. And believe it or not, I was planning on keeping it that way. I was just gonna utilize that motor to show the world you can have a fun car for super cheap and go to autocross everything even without the good old VTECs. But that's not how the cookie crumbled for me, and here I am. So why did I K-swap? One, it's just kind of the thing to do now. I know that sounds very weird, but the reason I say that is because K parts are everywhere. And especially if you go to somewhere like hybrid racing, I don't know why that was so awkward, I'm sorry. Especially if you go somewhere like hybrid racing. Hybrid racing has everything you need to do a K swap, and they are incredible with customer service and will answer any question you have about K swapping. I eventually took another trip back to hybrid racing and then came back and had a whole slew of stupid, literally coincidental problems that could have happened to literally anybody. For example, one of my axles fell off because it was a factory defect. Anything that has happened to this car, I want to make this completely clear. Hybrid Racing literally built this car perfect, but the real issue was simply luck of the draw. The axle falls off, I get rescued after an 8-hour detour on the side of the road. That happens. My buddy Mark, also known as Honda Street Garage, came up and saved the day with some brand new axles that were the right size.
Okay, so this is the new one. You can see all these nice clean teeth on the end of the shaft here. And then this is this guy, which is completely destroyed and sheared off.
And that was it with the axle issues. Then I thought to myself, you know, I'm just gonna go for a quick little drive the Integra. I drove out of my house, drove out of the neighborhood, both of my rear wheel bearings go out at the exact same time. Did the right thing, got the wheel bearings checked out, got them fixed in the rear. I was like, yeah, it's probably only the rear. Hondas are reliable, whatever. And then something incredibly predictable happened. My front wheel bearings went out 2 weeks later while I was on top of a mountain. Side note, when I went to the mountains, these brakes were good at first, but then they had some serious brake fade later. And I think it's because they're drilled and slotted rotors. In my opinion, it's better just to have slotted rotors, but it was a kit. I gave it a whirl, and going down the mountain, you started to smell the brakes pretty bad, and it was getting that good old squishy feeling that all of us love so much. There was also another time where I had the car running, and then I opened and closed the door to go grab something, and then I realized the door was locked. I left my car running while getting locked out of it. Like this man's Baby Yoda was just freaking, or Grogu nowadays, I guess. Anyway, since this window didn't work, it was even harder to get into the car to stop it from running. AAA showed up, opened the window, just barely could get it because the window motor was seized. And so it was just one of those days where you're just like, this ain't it, chief. Now, I'm not saying this was anybody's fault. It's just the age of the car. This is an old car, right? Even though it is the last year of the Integra. It's a 2001. Oh yeah, I finally got my window fixed. I got a whole new window motor and everything, and lo and behold, guess what it was? It was a fuse. It was a fuse the entire time. So, good job on that one, David. Oh yeah, I also got hit and run once, so my front fender has a big freaking dent in it. Here's where I got hit and run one time in a parking lot, so that's pretty cool. You just attract bad news, dude. Things happen to me a lot, and I'm sure they happen just as much to you too when it comes to project cars. Project cars just give you this feeling of you just can't win, and that's common with anybody. So, you know, just project car things. I will say, one of my favorite things about the Integra is the Hondata. The K-Pro ECU with Hondata is incredibly convenient and easy to use and easy to understand. Every single time I get in this car, I have a phone mount. I put the phone up on my windshield and it gives me everything I need to know. Temperatures, coolant temperatures, oil temperatures. Is it running correctly? Period. And thankfully, it's been running correctly this whole time. The motor itself has had zero problems. And you know, it was a motor from Japan, and you just don't know sometimes when you get a motor from Japan how it's going to go. If you own a K-swapped car, do yourself a favor and get the Hybrid Racing short shifter. You will have the time of your life in this thing. Incredibly short ratios, easy to rev match. It's awesome. And it just looks beautiful. You can't beat it. These Sparco seats, by the way, are also incredibly comfortable. And these are the cheapest Sparcos on the market. So glad they're not pieces of junk just because they're cheap. That was a great voice crack, now wasn't it? The best way I can describe the K20a in the DC2 is that your car feels like a 300 horsepower car. It does not feel like a turd or a non-VTEC LSB18 that's stock. Those are great for boost, by the way. Like the LSB18s, those are awesome for boost because the block is so good. But I'm just talking about an all-motor stock engine. This is the way to go. K-Series is 100% the way to go. After driving enough of the K-swaps, cannot beat it. I absolutely love it. Now, how does this car rank in my fleet of cars? I would put the K-swap Integra, like, it's hard. I don't want to rank my cars because my goal in my garage was to have as many completely different motoring experiences as possible, right? And the K-swap achieves something that my other cars can't. I can get on it without getting in trouble too much, even though it's much faster than I thought it was going to be. And at the same time, it gives me this raw and go-kart-like experience. My white Mustang is great actually for corners in the mountains with having that extra torque that I like. It's my heated and cool seats chill car that I drive every day. Smurf is just my dumb straight line car that I have anymore. I love it to death still, of course. 240SX is my problem child, but still love it. It's my choo-choo turbo noise car. And this is the car if I'm just in the mood to drive something more quote-unquote race car-like while not completely blowing the doors off of everything, this is what I choose overall. That's actually a good question. Out of all of my cars, which one is your favorite over the years? Put it in the comment section below. Love to hear what you have to say. In the Integra, was it worth it? Would I do it again? Absolutely. Hybrid Racing, I just want to thank you so much once again for helping me out with this build. I still love it to death. I've driven this car probably about 5,000 miles now like this. After all the problems were sorted out, you know, coolant leaks every now and then, but that's just an engine swap, man. You just always are finding the little things that you got to refine later. On that note, guys, I upload every Tuesday, Thursday, and Sunday. Thank you all so much for coming by. I appreciate every single one of you, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. See you guys later. Bye. This video is brought to you by Patterson Car Care. Get double of premium original detail product for half the price. Head over to PattersonCarCare.com or go to the link in the description below.